Hey y'all, it's Taryn. It's Sunday, February 2nd. Welcome. I hope y'all had a great week. We had a pretty good week here. I stitched, but not a lot. Well, not as much as I wanted to because it's always that way. But I did get some stuff done. Carson and I went thrifting yesterday. I've been out working in the yard with Dax today. I'm a mess. You can't see my shirt, but it is covered with dirt and dust and probably its fair share of cedar sap. We've been cutting down. Dax was cutting and I was hauling. Our gate has a solar panel that operates the gate, and our neighbor's trees have grown to where the solar panel was getting probably maybe 5 minutes of sun actually on it a day, and that won't keep the battery charged. So he was cutting away some of that. We haven't done it in 15 years. My neighbor has like 20 acres, and this is at the fence line, and to even know that we had cut anything away, he would either have to climb through the brush to get there or come up our driveway, and really he doesn't do either. So I want people to think we were like destroying his landscape or anything like that. We weren't. But anyway, I got cedar sap on my hand. We call them brush cedar. I don't actually know what kind of trees they are. They are not native to this area, but they grow like wildfire here. So anyway, a lot of people come through on a regular basis and clear them all out. It doesn't rain a lot here. The oak trees that are native, they root very deeply, but the cedars are shallow, and a lot of times they'll take all the water before it gets time to get down to where the roots for the oaks are. But we leave them growing at the front of our property because it makes for a fantastic sound barrier to the road. But anyway, they're not good for the sun to get to the solar panels. So he's been cutting and I've been hauling stuff over to the burn pile. Oh, I'm going to be so freaking sore tomorrow because I understand our parents in the uphill in the snow, but dragging the brush to the burn pile from the gate is uphill. Not having anything in my hands to go back and get more brush is downhill. That should not work that way. Anyway, that's at least one kind of maintenance thing that's done for now. Let's see. Carson and I went thrifting yesterday, all freaking day. I was so exhausted by the time that we got home, and so was she. But we had so much fun. I came home and thanked Dax because it's his hard work that allows me to be able to go out and do that. Just because he works so hard all the time that I got to go play. So anyway, we had a great time, and the weather has been absolutely beautiful this weekend. It's probably in the mid-70s. It's been sunny. It's just been fantastic. So while I was out doing that stuff, I wasn't stitching. And I've been out all day playing, dragging around the cedar, which is one of the things that causes me the allergy problems. Like right now, my eyes burn so bad, but it is what it is. I would take a Benadryl, but then I'd feel like I had a hangover for the next 36 hours. It's ridiculous how stuff affects me. Anyway, I didn't get all of the stitching done that I wanted to, but I did get some. So I worked on this Birdhouse Welcome from Dimensions, and this one, I think everything I show you, I think pretty much everything is on my list of 20 things, but look at this, y'all. I am done. All of this is stitched, back stitched, everything down there from here down is complete. And all I have, I am up to like where this bird starts. I'm up to like right here. So I've got to put in the bird, a couple of more things here, and then this other birdhouse and that bird and the welcome. Of course, I need the welcome because you know I love my welcomes. Everyone is welcome at my house. You're just not invited. That's really about how life is for me. I'm just kidding. I would let you come over. But I am so close, and that thrills me. That makes me feel like there's a chance. I have one on my list of 20 things that makes me feel like there's a chance. A couple of days this week, we had to be at the office really, really early. And by the time I got up in the morning and cleaned up after the dogs, because like Ziva's got to be, her puppy pads have to be changed out, and usually I have to mop the floor around her, put her on a new comforter, wash the one that she's been on, and then actually with wet wipes, animal wipes, clean her up. It takes usually around 30 minutes to get all that done in the morning. And so when we had to leave, I really had maybe 15 minutes of stitching on those mornings because I didn't want to miss stitching. So I worked on, Christmas Gentleman, again on my list. And here's overall. Oh, I'm sorry. The needle minder's just stuck in the middle. Overall. And all I did this time was his hand right here. I put in the flesh color for his hand because that was one of those mornings. I have been watching more Floss Tube this past week, and one of them that just automatically got chosen was an old one from Jen's Stitching Niche. It was probably like from close to the beginning maybe that popped up, and you know how sometimes things pop into your head with the weirdest, somebody mentions something and it sparks something in your head that you haven't thought about in years. And Jen was talking about, I think maybe the cat had brought a mouse into the house and let it go, or it had been chasing one, I don't know. But she caught the mouse and got it outside, but that one of her boys was saying that the cat had a smaller one, and Jen was saying that it was a shrew and that they're meaner than catching than catching a mouse. Anyway, when she was talking about the shrew, that sparked a thing in my head. All my life, I wanted to be a veterinarian. I had two goals in life. I wanted to have a big family, you know, happily married with lots of kids, and to be a veterinarian. The veterinarian thing didn't work out because I pass out in those situations, and I don't want to, it's not the blood and guts. The blood and guts I can handle. In high school, in biology 2, we dissected a cat. I carried it home with me. I probably should have told my mom that cat that was spread out and pinned to a board that was on top of the freezer outside. I should have told her it was there before she went outside to get something from the freezer. But you got to study. But that stuff didn't bother me. It's the smell. I cannot handle the smell of whatever they use to clean hospitals and veterinary offices. It makes me pass out. It's not just that I don't like it. I mean, like, I took my cat to the vet one time, and he was just doing a checkup, and I had to sit down and put my head between my knees, because I was going to pass out, because I can't deal with the smell. So, anyway, long way around to, I wanted to be a veterinarian from the time I was probably 6 or 7. And my parents used to buy, it'd be like a subscription box now, but they would mail this company, they sent you this plastic box and these organizers, and every month you would get 10 or 20 cards, and the front of the card would have a picture of an animal, and then the back would tell you where it came from, and you know, what it ate, what kind of animal it was, and all this information about it. And I got those for years. I mean, probably 10 years, maybe not that many. Probably till I was 13 or 14. But in some of the last sets of cards, there was a tree shrew. Now we're all the way back around to what made me think of this. And when the card came in, like I said, I was 13 or 14 years old. I was old enough to know. And I'm looking at the picture, and I'm like, there were 2 tree shrews, and the picture was taken at night in their little tree shrew nest. I showed it to my dad, and I'm like, would you look at this picture? And he's like, oh, look, it's the tree shrew screw, because they were having sex. It's like, really? You couldn't get another picture of a shrew? Nope. They sent all the little kids who were getting these cards the tree shrew screw. But when Jen said it, talking about the shrew, the tree shrew screw popped into my head, and I've been laughing about it for a week because it's ridiculous. Anyway, so there you go. Lots of stuff you didn't want to know. I did work on the 2019 Christmas ornaments for my kids. I actually got quite a bit done on this one. I finished up her feet and the dark in her face. I started the little teddy bear she's holding, and I don't know if you can see the white around her dress. Her dress is pink. That doesn't really leave terribly much to do. I got to put in the dress, which is, it's all satin stitch. Almost everything is satin stitch. And this little bear's face, and then just back stitch around everything. So maybe I'll get a second ornament completed this year. Maybe. I've already started on the 2020 ornaments. Sorry, this is going to make noise. Because I ordered a bunch of diamond painting ornaments. I got this package of 10. And here I've done this one. This one's complete. The little diamonds are really, the white is kind of opalescent all around in here, and then these bigger ones really are. So there you go. I've already started on the 2020 ornaments because obviously I need to. I have concerns about the diamonds coming off later. Would it mess up the iridescent? Somebody tell me what you think. A lot of y'all tell me what you think. Will it mess up the iridescent qualities of these beads and stuff if I go over this with Mod Podge? I'm thinking like a high gloss one. But I don't want to ruin them. But I don't want like 2 years down the road for the beads to be popping, the diamonds to pop off. And those won't be like other stuff where it's going to be under glass. So, I worked on Mary Mouse from the Brooks Books Animal Advent. And y'all, I finished her. Take that. It only took me a year. A year at least, I think. I did not put the snow in. I'm not putting the snow because you can't see it, and I don't want to bother. Here on the candy cane, you couldn't see the white. It looked like red dots, so I outlined it with red. That's not part of the pattern. And then her crown on the pattern is in white, but again, you can't see the white. So I did it in a shiny, it's hard to tell, gold. I went into my box of Wonderful from Colbin and pulled out Satan's pubic hair, and that's what her crown is stitched with. So there you go. And because it was just a small bit of stitching, it wasn't really bad. It really wasn't. I worked just a little bit on my stitch along from Linen and Threads. Obviously not going to get January's part done in January. Which this, so I've done 3 of these. That leaves me, out of the 25, that leaves me 22, which means to finish this, I need to do 2 of these a month. It only took me a year to do this one, so that's totally doable. I looked, because I worked on this yesterday and finished it yesterday. It came up in my wheel spinning, which is how I decide each day. I've got categories and wheels for the categories, and it's all very convoluted, but that's how this one came up yesterday, and I worked on her, and I told Kirsten we weren't leaving until I finished it. But it doesn't come up again in February at all, which means that to get the other 2 squares, to get 2 more squares done in February, this all has to be stitching that's not on the piece that I spun and I'm supposed to work on, which isn't that big a deal because, like I've said so many times before, I get bored quickly and then I can only think about other things I could be stitching on. But there isn't time. Okay, so I need to do that one. I have my solitude piece, right? 7 squares a month I need to do on that one, which it doesn't come up all the time and it doesn't come up often enough to do that, so I've got to get those done in addition. This one doesn't come up at all because I hadn't decided to do this when I did all of that. So this is all stitching after I stitch on whatever that other, I guess, focus piece for the day is. So anyway, I did not get January's done in January. I have not finished January's yet, but I did work on it. I put in this down here. I think all of this actually, but it's not a ton, but it is what I can do. Because priorities, right? This was my new start. Our Home from Design Works. It says Joan Elliott. I am only doing, I haven't decided. I think I might do that part or I might just do that. But with these up here, I think it looks more complete if I do all of that. But I'm not going to do all the words. Because it says, may our home always be too small to hold all our friends. And we've discussed before about how people don't come over. For one thing, we're at work all the time. So, but here's my amazing start. I put this in because I didn't want it to just be that yellow line. So there you go. And then, because I could not stand it, I kept this out because I was so close to being finished, and I finished it. There are mistakes, but we're not going to talk about that because we fudged it and made it work. But that actually gave me 2 finishes for January. The one with the Amish dolls, and then this one. And with stuff that I bought, that left me at the end of January $5.98 positive. So there you go. I was pretty happy with that. I'm happy with 2 finishes in January because, quite frankly, I didn't think I was going to get any finishes in January. So I'll take it. Oh, here. I did work on Solitude, the Mystic Stitch. I did get all 7 of the squares done for January. So this is where I am. I have not gotten any completed squares for February, but if you look, I've got some that are really close. At least a couple. So maybe next time I can at least get something completed. I don't know. I would have loved to have gone into February with ahead a little bit, but I didn't work on it enough in January to get ahead, which gets back to the whole, that one doesn't come up on the list very often, so it's got to be squeezed in. They all can't be squeezed in, but oh well. That was what I stitched. I think that's everything. I don't think I've forgotten anything. Although it wouldn't surprise me if I did. So, what else did I do? On my desk, cleaning up, I have put away more trim pieces that I keep finding, like finishing little pieces of trim that are, this long that I can use on the smalls, so I don't want to throw it away, but it's just laying here making a mess. So I've gotten that, and I have been, I had sown a whole bunch of strawberries, so today I have been busy stuffing strawberries to get them off. I use the ground walnut shells, and I use a shot glass. That's kind of how I measure. A strawberry like this size takes about a shot glass. Because why not? This one, the strawberry he's sewn together, but I need to sew on the top. Because I'm trying not to do them all the same. So on this one, my intention is to leave the top loose. It's like this. My intention is to leave it loose. And then I cut out some leaves that I'm going to sew on there. But I think I want a white button because to put up there with it, because strawberry flowers are white. So it's laying here. It's there waiting for me to finish it. We went shopping. We did a lot of shopping, Kirsten and I, at the thrift store. I bought this. It was in an antique, like one of the malls where everybody has their own booths, for $6. It's all nice and beat up, and I like that. So I have no idea what I'll do with it, but I'll do something. And I bought a whole bunch of other stuff too. Dax is texting me, and I have to go in and help him. And in order to go in and help him, I'm going to have to pause this. But it may only, I only have a few minutes before it'll just totally shut off. So, if it cuts me off, then there will be a part 2. Or, maybe in my genius, I can figure out how to put the 2 together, and we won't have to do that. But, okay. Fingers crossed, everybody, because I bought a lot of stuff. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. It did shut off, so, you know, I have a new computer at the office, so maybe I can figure out how to edit and, you know, put 2 videos together. I think I showed you all of my stitching. When I went in, I've got to tell y'all this. When I got up and walked in, just from sitting out here and not moving, oh my God. My thighs and muscles in my butt are so sore. Tomorrow's going to be a long day. Okay, stuff I bought. I told you this. Everything's not even all out here. From the thrift shop here in town by us. Look at this little tray. How cute is that? Got that. It's sliding. I got this little lunch tray. It was $1. I thought that this would be awesome for when I'm diamond painting, to keep the drills and wax and everything corralled. And if I want to take it and put it away without putting everything back into stuff, I can just slide it into one of these. So I got that. Kirsten got one too for her diamond painting. I got this little frame. The picture's kind of cute, so I don't know. I kind of like it, but it really doesn't go with anything I have. But square frame. We have discussed before buying square frames. This one, brand new, still in the wrapper. I got it because I have so much westerny kind of things that I do, and this one is leather, so I think it was $1. I got this one. Some of these are from Goodwill when we went, because I told you I recorded this before. So anyway, you can see my bulletin board in the reflection in the phone. Anyway, square frame. Now that song from that TV show Square Pegs is going through my head because I said square frame. And I got this tray. See, it's the handles. You can use it to put together a little display, or I can finish something and put it in here. And it was only $3. Now, what that really gets us around to is I need to FFO some stuff. I got a box of shame, and I keep buying all these things to FFO, but I haven't done that. Anyway, I bought a bunch of stuff at Goodwill that really, here's the one that y'all will care about. This, I do not like this. I bought it because I like this and want to hang something from it. So I will take this part off. I'm going to guess they had this on a front door or something, because the back of it has lots of sticky tack, whatever they call that. And they've got all these, there's leaves everywhere on here. I don't know why they have them all pushed to the back, but it looks like these are all screwed together, the pumpkins. So maybe I'll see if I can get them apart and use them for something else. Because why not, right? I got a whole lot of other stuff. We went into At Home. I had never been into At Home before, and we went into Big Lots. I told Kirsten, hey, let's go eat lunch at Cece's in New Braunfels, because in the same shopping center is a Big Lots. And if your dad and I eat there, he won't let me go into Big Lots. So Kirsten and I went in there, and I bought a few things. We didn't make it 10 feet into the store, I don't think, before I had, you know, $40 worth of candles in my cart. We bought a bunch of candles, but they smell really good. So, I don't think we bought too much else in Big Lots. A couple of things to display with stuff. And then we went over into Dollar General. No, Dollar Tree. Kirsten decided that our Christmas tree, she wants to do it, to leave it up in the living room. And she wants to decorate it for all the different holidays and stuff. Holiday seasons, whatever. And I said, okay, sure. And I went up into the attic and pulled down. I used to do that a long time ago, like 30, 35 years ago, before Dax and I ever met. And all of that, I had a tree in my kitchen in the house I lived in. And it was only like a 4 foot tall, 4 or 5 foot tall tree. So it wasn't a giant one. And the tree that we have now is like a 7 or 8 foot tree. So I only have like half the decorations that I need. But this will go towards that. All the decorations. I still have them from all that time ago. I actually quit doing it when we had kids because it was one less thing to keep them out of. But anyway, so I had those decorations and we went into Dollar Tree to try to get more to supplement, which we got some things like some garland and stuff and some felt clovers that'll be great for St. Patrick's Day, but not the hearts for Valentine's Day. But one of the great things is out here cleaning my desk and everything. Last week I cleaned up more pieces, small pieces that were left of trim, and they're like too small to wrap around the wood pieces that I keep the trim on, but they're big enough to still finish small. So I cleaned some of those off and put them away. But I found some grapevine hearts that I was trying to make a swag with at one time that I didn't like. So they've just been sitting here. So I put hangers on them and they'll go on the tree for Valentine's Day. And I found some other things that I had made for Valentine's Day that will go on the tree that are no longer on my desk. So that's a win. It's always better to even put it to use when they come off my desk. So then we did some other shopping, and we went into At Home in New Braunfels, which I'd never been into an at-home store before. Neither of us had. I don't go to New Braunfels all that often. But we went in there, and I don't think other at-home stores are probably like this one. This one looked like Black Friday sales had been going on and people started a riot, and then they left everything that way and opened the store for business. It was a mess. I mean, there wasn't any place. There were lots of places where they had cleared shelves because they're going to put out new stock. They had pallets of stuff moved out to put out, blocking off aisles of things where you couldn't even get down the aisle. Makes it hard to buy from them when they do that. But even the stuff that you could get to was just chaos. I mean, you had to dig through everything in any department. It was awful. But we're not quitters. We stayed there and dug through things and spent a small fortune. I bought they had some Christmas ornaments still there in the big thing in red and white and silver. And I said, those will be perfect for the tree. And it's probably a couple hundred ornaments. That was $3 because it was on clearance. But I bought 2 Christmas trees, y'all. I bought a 6.5 foot pre-lit tree and a 4.5-foot tree with no lights, but it is flocked. I spent $20. Not each, both of them together. The smaller tree was $6. Sorry, still need to unplug it. I hope that didn't mess with the sound. The smaller tree was, I'm sorry, $7, and the bigger one was $13. It's like, I don't need those trees, but that's too good a deal not to buy them. So I bought them. I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. I would say I'd take the smaller one and put it out to decorate, but then that defeats the purpose of not having to take down the big tree, which I think was Kirsten's whole purpose. So I did that, got other things too. Kirsten's bedroom does not have any windows. It is the only actual interior room in the house. Every other room in the house touches the outside at some point, but except for hers. So she bought a bunch of plastic succulents and some moss and a bowl to put them in and make it look like she's growing something green in her room. Let's see. I'm trying to think of the other stuff we bought. The more we carried in, the more Dax was like, oh my God, what is wrong with you? So it was good. We had a glorious day, and it was just awesome. We had so much fun. Now I really have to put it all away, and because we were gone all day yesterday, I did not do dishes yesterday, and of course no one else did them, and I have not done them yet today, and people just keep dirtying them, so my kitchen looks like a dish bomb exploded. But I gotta run to the store and buy milk. But I'm also going to go and get some potting soil. It is time for me to plant my crop. I'm going to start it in this right here. This is a little tiny ivy that I carried everything in from outside on the porch, all of the plants, when it was getting cold, and they are in front of one set of the French doors in the living room so that they can still get sunlight, and we keep the cats locked out of there. In general, if those cats get in there, they run as fast as they can to the pot that this was in and rip it out. I don't know what it is about this one. Even there, I cut all the dead leaves off of it. It has one leaf that's trying to grow. It's like there was still green, and as long as there is a dot of green, I will not throw something away. And I've had it on the shelf in my bathroom. And I carried it and set it on the counter today because I was going to bring it out here because I'm out here all the time, and I know that I'll water it, and I'm going to get my crop started here. In the amount of time that I left the room and came back in, Bartholomew was on the counter, he was on the floor. He'd already been on the counter, pulled that out, and had it on the floor. I don't know what it is about this plant. But anyway, my crop here, my granddaddy was the child of a farmer, grew up on a cotton farm, and even though that he lived in Houston, in the city, in his front yard, he had 3 small, probably about that big, round flower beds. Sometimes in the front might have a rose bush, 1 or 2 of them maybe. But usually, well, every year at least one of them had cotton. He planted cotton for as long as I can remember in that house, in those flower beds every year. I can't remember to do it on time every year. But this year I remember. That's why I have the cotton that's up here. This is cotton right here. That's why I have that cotton. I'm going to pull it off and pull the seeds out and plant them out of one of the bowls. And I will put it in a flower pot out front. And I have actually harvested cotton off of it. I've done it before, and I've actually harvested cotton. My granddaddy would do, like I said, usually he would have all three of them, the flower beds, all three of them with cotton. And he would harvest it, and he had the address of some place that you could send them whatever you had, and they would bale it. And it might be only a bale this big, but they would bale your crop for you. I wish I knew where that was, but I loved that tradition. I really do want to carry it on. I wish I would be better about it because I don't remember to plan it. And I'm sure most of that has to do with the fact that I adored my granddaddy. So, he's been gone for a long time. The kids were very young, but I was so thrilled that he got to see them. So I've got to run. I got to buy milk. I've always got to buy milk, and I'm going to run to the store and get some potting soil. There's soil in that cup, but it's so dry. I just want new soil, so so then I can get my crop going. And I have seeds for some other things. I watch other people, and I'm so envious of their gardens. I have trouble. I'm not a green thumb. I desperately want to be. But one of our biggest issues around here is the deer. Keeping the deer out of and keeping them from eating everything. Most of what I put outside plant-wise on the corner of the porch is stuff that the deer don't like. But it is a little bit better because right around the house and close, the dogs and the smell of the dogs keeps the deer away. But if I were to push out away from the house, like into the horse's pen, we don't have horses. If I put something out there, the deer sleep out there all the time, it would not make it. As soon as there was anything to chew on it, it would be gone. So I desperately want to grow. I am so amazed by plants that provide something that, besides just being pretty, that you can get food from, that just blows me away, and I would love to do it. Maybe one day. I don't know. We'll see. I am so desperately close to wanting chickens. We had chickens when I was a kid. I hated them. Probably I hated having to go and deal with them, and we had the meanest rooster in the world. And so we had another rooster who was the most laid-back rooster in the world, and he got to be about the size of a turkey when my brother was through with FFA and his chicken project, and he killed and cleaned the chickens and everything. You couldn't even... That rooster took forever to even be able to cook because he was huge. His drumsticks were like this big. You certainly weren't using him for fried chicken. Anyway, I'm so close, but every time I think about having to have something else to take care of every day, I'm like, no. And foxes are an issue out here. And, I don't want them coming to the house. I don't want to attract them and invite them. Snakes are an issue. But anyway, I don't know. I'm so close. And this is the time. Easter chicks are going to be out soon, and Dax will have a fit. He will just have a fit. Anyway, I think that's everything. I want to thank everyone for your comments. I want to apologize because on my video before last, I didn't know anybody had commented. For whatever reason, all of them got held waiting for approval by me. I didn't change anything on YouTube, so I don't know why that happened. And Dawn, Frosty X Stitch, thank you, Dawn, messaged me elaborate messages to try to fix that. And when I say elaborate, she described things, she did screenshots and sent to me, and everything was set the way that she had sent to me and how it should be to make the messages pop up. So I don't know why they didn't before, because I didn't change any settings, so I don't know what the deal was. But anyway, maybe it's fixed. But I apologize because I wasn't ignoring anybody. Not that I've answered the messages from last week, but I have answered from, way before. I'll get there. When I read the messages, I verbally answer all of you. I do. I talk to my phone when I read the messages, so if only y'all could hear me. Anyway, I appreciate the messages. I really do. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for the likes. Welcome to the new subscribers. And I think that's all I've got for now. So we'll see you here next time. Thanks, y'all. Bye.